Welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored, all the way from Los Angeles. I am in the Dear Media studio, very excited, and I'm joined by, well, I've been trying to get him on this show for years, really.
What? I'm always here.
I know, I'm kidding. My husband. I'm my husband. We had a little bit of time, so we decided to give you all what you want, which is a couples podcast.
You look so sexy from here, honey.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Well, we are 7 years in, and I think, we've done all the age gap stuff to death. Everybody knows for the, 19 years difference. And I think what people are interested in now is how different we are. So I get a lot of comments, or you do as well, on our posts going, oh, she looks like she hates him. She looks like she's bored of him. She rolls her eyes. She doesn't. Well, I mean, that's me. That's just me. I don't understand. If I'm not rolling my eyes and looking like you're about to bore me to tears, who would I be?
I mean, I think that's really what I love about you in a way, because I had the other way around my entire life. And I think when I found you, because since the first moment we met, you were always horrible to me, I kind of just got attracted to that.
I had this conversation with a girlfriend of mine, Stephanie Chauget, the other day, when we were staying with Larsa. And Larsa said, I cannot be in a group chat with you two girls because you're so mean to each other. And Stephanie and I were like, what? We love each other. We really love each other. And the fact is, like, when you're comfortable enough to poke somebody and to make fun of somebody and they don't get offended, that's when you love somebody. I always say, be careful if I'm really nice and smiling through gritted teeth, because, then you should worry.
I think that's the beauty of finding that strong partnership and that friendship. I think that's what it keeps us going. We always battle back to back within each other. And I think that's just why we are always laughing in the relationship.
Actually, last night was a typical example. We were lying in bed last night and our toes, which I thought would be disgusting, were like intertwined, and you couldn't sleep unless you had because we always lie facing the other way with our feet touching and then hands behind our back touching each other, which is hilarious. Not even comfortable. I don't know how we fall asleep like that. But what did you say to me?
I don't remember. I said so many things. What was it?
You said, I hope I fall asleep like this for the rest of my life.
Oh, you remember what I said?
I do remember. It was really sweet. And it's, we really haven't been apart. He's about to go now to Bali for our little hotel project. And actually, I'm manifesting. What am I talking about? Our huge hotel project. I've got to stop doing that.
Exactly. You just devaluate it all the time. And
I know.
It's a massive thing, honey. It's almost like 50,000 square feet of land that we got now. So
I know.
It is quite big.
It's a big hotel.
And actually, I have to say that I got it like in my mind, in my heart the other day. When I was like going through the day, you stopped for a second and you said, oh my God, I actually just really see how many things you do for me. You open my door, you look after me, you take care of me. And that came out of your heart. And
actually, you're right. That's happened since I was in LA. So I think we take each other for granted. And you do. My husband, I listened the other day, someone said you should keep dating your wife or your husband or whatever it is. And you do it every day. Like that man, he has never forgotten to open the car door for me. You have never forgotten, like if I'm walking with my handbag, he carries it. Like he won't even if it's a tiny little, ridiculous handbag, he's like, in the middle of the night, he'll go, are you okay? I mean, sometimes that irritates me because I'm asleep and you'll go, you okay? He checks on me all the time. I'll be sitting in the car and he's driving. He'll be like, you're right. Is it cold enough? Is it warm enough for you? And I'm like, well, I'm sitting next to you, so I could just turn on the things, but I would miss it if he didn't do it.
I think, the beauty in a relationship is to preserve what made it. And I think the only way to keep that is never take it for granted what brought us together in the beginning. And I think that's what I really, always try to do in a daily basis. Because the easy path for me would be just go through the day, I don't even say I love you. I don't open the door. I don't carry your things. I don't just kind of care for you. And I think if you just keep doing that, automatically, you will just, you will feel good. It makes you feel good, right?
Yeah, of course. It's amazing, darling. And I think to myself, being so young, and there are many men much older that don't appreciate their wives like you do. And I wonder all the time what makes you that way. And then, all the things that used to irritate me about you and your mum. Here we go.
Oh my God, leave my mom alone, Carolina. Always talking about my mom.
I just never understood it. But
And now
you
you
know,
understand it?
well, I appreciate it. How about
Okay.
that? I don't know if I understand it yet, but I definitely appreciate it because between me and your mum, your day is gone.
100%. And they always say, try to find a
A man.
man who looks after the mother the same way that you want to look after you. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know. And I have a big business trip coming up, which will be one of the longest trips I will have done for work. And, instead of going on a boys' trip, my husband is going away with his mother and his sister. I mean,
Yes.
make it make sense. I would avoid my parents and if you went away for a week or a week and a half, I think I would be, I don't know.
But actually, you know why? That's mainly the biggest reason why you chose me. Because I prioritize family before anything, and I care for the people around me. And I don't need to go out there. Any other man in the planet will go and will just try to find to escape with friends on a trip. I go and escape with my mother and my sister because they're really looking forward for that.
Actually, but you're like that with anyone. We were just now staying with Larsa, and she's just moved into her new home, obviously, and is getting everything set up. And we were there, and anyone that knows me, I'm a little bit of a piggy when I travel. So Stephanie says I can never stay with her. So thanks, Steph. Larsa, however, my husband got up in the middle, well, not the middle of the night, early morning, went downstairs, cleaned her kitchen, made it all beautiful for her so that when she came down, she felt like everything was done because, she's moving house and it's stressful for her. Then he, offered to sort of like tidy the house and do things outside for her. And I was like, I appreciate that too. And I think that's what Larsa really appreciates about you. All the women in your life appreciate that about you.
And I think it's about age, to be honest. And I think it's about not losing the beauty about loving life.
Do you think that's your age thing? Do you think it's because you're so young? I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it is because that's kind of in a way how I was brought up. I love to make happy people around me. And I can apply that to you, to my family, to my close circle of
You
friends.
will come and sit in a hair salon with me for 5 hours while I do my hair color. I mean, I'm not sure I would do that with you.
I mean, you're horrible, but it's fine. It's just about the journey. It's about, for me, just living
Well,
the
there's
moment.
no journey in that hair salon.
Maybe,
You want to shoot
yes.
yourself.
It can be memories made up there.
Okay, fine. I really believe that actually the things that you all see because I get it a lot, and so do you on your Instagram, going, well, they're going to be broken up in another 6 months. They hate each other. We really don't. We still hold hands and get butterflies like all the time. He'll look me in the eye like he is now, and I know exactly what's going up.
Stop touching my leg below the table.
Yeah, I'm not touching your leg.
No.
Which leg?
That's the question.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's just, it really takes a little thing just to make someone happy near you. And I think people forget about that. It just doesn't matter anything. It can be just a hello, or, oh my God, you look amazing today. Oh, I love you. Have a beautiful day, to anyone in the street. It really takes nothing. And I think people forget about what life is about. It's about the human connection.
I think what we're trying to say is, what is it that has, all the things that they think are the things that are going to break us up are actually the things that unite us, right? I can still look across the table and give you a hard on. The first retreat was absolutely insane. The second retreat is going to be in the Maldives. We've had so many signups. Please click the link and buy your ticket ASAP. Very, very limited seating. I have said it. I think we are about 30% or 40% sold out now. Send me a DM if you're interested in coming. If you're a man and you're interested in looking in retreats too, please also send me a DM. I look forward to hearing from you all. I can still, it's true.
You
Look at
can't
his
say
face.
that, honey.
I can.
You can't.
I can.
I mean,
I can.
It's just something very interesting. When you find someone who you have extremely connection with and you have that fire between you, you can just look at each other's eyes and there is that extreme power that just come to the middle and the pee just ping, just goes out automatically. I don't know how to control that. It's just so weird, but I cannot do it.
It's true. and you can't fake that kind of connection. You cannot. So, for all you haters out there, who knows where we're going to be in 20 years? I'm absolutely with you. You never know. But let me tell you, nothing has faded now. Do I get irritated with him? Yes. Has he pushed more buttons in me than all my children and my ex-husband put together? 100%.
Wait, why is everything about you? What about me? I mean,
Well,
you
I'm doing
are
me then first.
okay. I'm doing me.
But that is, I think, what makes our relationship so, fiery and so amazing. Like, we don't ever get bored. We genuinely, even when I'm in that seat doing my hair for 6 hours, we're not really bored. We're working our little socks off and talking and doing things.
100%. It's just we enjoy the journey. We are very happy and content with each other, and we love the direction we're going. That's all.
Yeah. And, again, the things that we are not the same on, i.e. family. Okay, that is another thing that, is very difficult because that is the only thing I see as a big problem for us.
Is it?
Well, yes, the children, and if you don't have it in the future.
I mean, that's just my only thing, I guess. But, as you know, I'm coming from a big family. I have like 41 cousins from my dad's
side.
side.
Well, that's 100% not happening. I'd rather throw myself off a mountain than have 41 children.
But we're not having 41 children, my friend, but at least 2 or 3.
But that's also not happening, no.
No?
I was giving in towards half. Is half possible? Who borrow one for half the year?
No, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
So my only fear is, okay, we love our life now. We have all this freedom, and your kids are gonna be, gone in 3-4 years. Then what is gonna be? Like, what's gonna happen with us? I mean, it's amazing to be able to travel, see the world, not have any responsibilities in a way. But then, what is my little generation? Are we gonna have a baby? That's kind of like the question. Like, am I on that stage to have a baby now?
I don't know. I don't know is the answer. I just, one, as I've always said, one of us might be unhappy with the solution, and the other one, I also don't think you can do something to appease someone. I just.
Oh, so
can't.
you couldn't do it for me?
Well, I'm thinking, darling, but I don't know if that's the right reason to do something either.
Okay, I mean, I could do anything for you if you want a baby or a stupid puppy. That we have 3 of them now.
Baby isn't quite like a puppy, darling.
I mean, they're quite require the same attention.
Not really, but
I mean,
okay.
It's just funny because I keep getting signs and signs of all these people talking to me about babies and facilitating to me this baby mama who can carry my baby. So I'm like, okay, is this actually a sign for me to have a baby? I don't know.
I don't know. That's the only difference I see that is a big, big problem for us. Other than that, I think the age gap relationships actually are a giant plus because I think you have a respect level maybe you don't with a counterpart. Maybe if you meet someone your same age, but you're in different parts of your life, right? So, that can breed a different type of contempt. Mm-hmm. So maybe one is much more successful. And one thing that I get asked about all the time, in fact, I just got asked yesterday again, could you please do a podcast on how you work out your finances between each other?
Why people keep going about that all the time?
Because lots of people won't have relationships, age gap relationships, because obviously with an age gap relationship, there normally is a difference in financial earnings and earning power. And they want to know how it works. So they think that, the richer one just sits around all day and pays for the one that doesn't, that's younger. And I want to say that that's completely not how it works. Actually, this is a good lid to open because all my girlfriends also that are interested in it don't know how to work it. I think the number one conversation that people are scared of in relationships is finances. And I think because I was divorced, that was the first question I asked you.
And actually, we were extremely clear from the beginning. And look, when I met Caroline, I was 24 years old. I built something in my life. I had some assets, but I didn't really have any much liquidity. And I was extremely clear with her. I said, look, I have this, well, I'm working towards this.
I put it out there. It's like, tell me if we've got $50 or $500 million. Like, just tell me what I'm working with here, because I can work with anything if I know what we're looking at.
And actually, Caroline always says that, one of the reasons why she decided to stay with me is because she saw how much of a hardworking person I am. So when I met her, I was working in all these projects in Mexico, doing all these, ticketing companies and stuff. And, it was a lot of work.
He had the head of one of the biggest, is it baseball?
Yeah, no, it's the
basketball teams, flying with him to Mexico. I'm not going to name names, but I was just so owned a team. I was so impressed that he even got that man on a plane at 24. It wasn't about the outcome. It was the fact he got that man to leave his office and he was the owner of a basketball team. We're not talking about just a pencil pusher. I was like, how on earth did you get him to fly across the world with you? So that for me showed many things about you, darling, and you've always been like that. So I would say to you out there, for all the women that are considering it, it's not about the money in their account, okay? For sure. And you can't expect, because if you look back at where you were at 24 or 25 or whatever you're looking at, you can't expect more of someone else. I don't know why you think that because you're accomplished 20 years down the road, that they should be, further on in life. If somebody is willing to work, if somebody is willing to, I think I was listening, who did we listen to yesterday?
Actually,
Emma.
The CEO, one of the co-founder of Skims. He was amazing.
Amazing.
Actually.
What an amazing woman. Emma O'Grady.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that, if you find someone who is willing to
Grit, grind,
to have passion, to grow, it doesn't matter the industry, but it really matters how, I just wanted to grow. I wanted to build. I wanted to just create something. And Caroline saw that, I tried to do so many things in many different industries. And then at the end, I kind of click something and I stick to it. And I think that's what he showed in the beginning.
Honey, I would have chosen you for my team, whether you were with me or not, if I could. I was listening to Emma and it was like, that's exactly what she was saying. It's not about the CV. It's not about the experience. Sometimes people that come with experience come with very old habits. And that is the truth. You need to be fast moving. You need to think on your feet. You need to be willing. She said, I always take the person that says, I'll do that. I will do that. And that is who you are. And so I saw that from very early on, obviously, and I have absolutely harnessed that to my favor. And so what I have done is the way we manage our finances now is, first of all, we discussed a prenup. We both did that before.
100%.
We got married. So
that was a big thing in the beginning. I didn't really know, to be honest, I didn't even know what was a prenup,
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, just whatever you say. And I think that's, it can tell everything because I trusted Caroline with everything. And I always told her, I don't care about money. I don't care about anything. When you find the proper and a strong partnership, you just go with it. And, you are sure that you're going to grow together. So that was my whole thing.
But I think a lot of couples work against each other, right? They don't want to open up their address book. They don't want to open up their bank accounts. They don't, because they're always thinking, what if it doesn't work out? And sometimes in life, you have to think, what if it does?
100%.
Because if you work against each other in a couple and always make them feel less than, you can never expect it to work. You can't. How?
I think you can see that through the eyes. When you find someone who is truly genuine, and he's there just to give. He's not a taker, he's a giver. I always say that. You can really tell if someone is a giver and is willing to just do anything to please you and to make you happy. Then, you're open to just give everything to him because then you're going to grow together.
Mm-hmm. And I think, stop focusing on that so much. I always say choose for love, not money. If that's one bit of advice I can give you. I think, when you travel, it really is the nitty gritty they're asking, Sergio. So if you're younger and you have a more rich wife, how would you travel? How do you do all the things? That's the things people are worried about. They're like, how does it work? But
I have to say from so much younger, man, and 20 years older, a younger husband, it is the most beautiful thing you can find out there. Find someone older who you can learn from. She can be your mentor, she can be your lover, she can be your best friend, she can be, she can really guide you in life. And I think that is one of the most beautiful things you can find.
Do you ever see the age?
I never see the age. And I even didn't see it in the beginning. And I told you, please do not do the facelift. Do not do all these weird things. I love you for who you are. I really fell in love with the personality of, this strong, powerful woman who is willing to just do anything and tell anything to me on my face, whatever it is, good or bad, just to make me grow.
So what do you think are the top 3 things that make age gap relationships work?
The top 3 things that make age gap relationships work. Oh my God. I think the first one would be maybe, when you're younger, you look up to someone. So that's what I found in you. I found someone who I really want to inspire to be. Like you are so much more established. You were, you created this beautiful life, and I was blessed to join that life.
You see, that's interesting because a lot of people think joining someone's life that's already done is the actual negative. You found it the positive,
should
like
be the
it
other
was
way around.
already there.
Exactly.
Like, you could see what it was going to look like for you.
Yeah, and in a way, joining that life, it was a lot of pressure for me because obviously I met you without the kids. Then there was 3 kids involved. I need to step up my game to join however I could, the finances level, the everything basically. And, it really pushed my limits to become the person who I am today. And I think that was a speed up forward, fast track into life. Now, in my head, I'm like 45, 50 years old because I've been through everything.
And that's interesting, actually, what he just said. He wanted to like step up his game, right? So when you've got through the finances stage and you understand, like, you can't expect a man, any man, by the way, forget the age gap. You cannot ask a man that you're not married to step into a relationship where you've got 3 kids, maybe a house already, that you've got alimony coming in, and ask him to split half. I don't believe in that either, ladies. You have to be fair. Like, what would it have cost him to support himself in the Middle East, right? If he went to rent a house, that's the way I thought, or I think, right? He wouldn't need, as a single man, a 6-bedroom house and the food bills that I have for 9 people, right?
That's the biggest problem, I think. When like, best thing that we did is we prioritized love before anything and feelings. And that was the first, and everything else were just, it flew around it because we put that easier first. Everything else was so much easier. We didn't really put first finances, age gap, anything that was just
we're very relaxed, by the way,
walls.
Because our world is our world. Like, on my birthday, Christmases, like, and his, we don't really ask for things because we feel like we have everything. Not that you don't give. He gives if we see something, but like, that's not our priority. It's not running into, like, when we close a really big job, then we rush down to Chanel for me, normally. For me.
Literally.
But, our priority is not the Cartier bracelet and the rings.
And
it's like a piece of land. It was never like that.
From the beginning, it was never like that. And I think that's why it really worked so well, because we just put love first, let it just, drive the car, and we were on the back. Just looking at everything.
And we've learned, by the way, ladies, because I'm seeing so many people now trying to get divorced or jump out. And I'm like, well, what have you got to sell? And the shit that we buy, other than our Birkin bags, all depreciates to about fuck all. Sometimes the big stones, yes, whatever you can get some money for. But all the girls that I know who are desperately now trying to raise some cash so they can at least buy a home and everything else, we put all that first. He always said to me, do you want, a bracelet or whatever? And I knew that, he really wanted land, right? And so we want to renovate another apartment. That costs a lot of cash. So those were just always our priority till now. And we were renovating the big house, remember? And I wanted that sofa. I wanted those stupid chandeliers,
oh my God,
which I love. He was so against.
I have a question for you. What was the biggest thing that kind of like inside you? I know you were not showing that to me, but what was the biggest thing that inside you was putting a big wall in your heart saying, oh my God,
so many
what
things.
am I doing?
Every single person said it was a giant red flag. That when you used to drive across country to take me for dinner, you used to, like,
how?
Because
that
was
should
like
be a good thing.
No, I know it should. Well, isn't that sad? You're absolutely right. My girlfriends would be like, men don't do that. He's trying way too hard.
Exactly. The wrong men don't do that. When you find someone younger that
you were living in a movie.
Yeah, he's really looking forward to get that, then he will do anything for you.
Do you know what? I manifested it too, because I used to watch that movie. I can't remember what it was called. Say Anything, I think it was. Say Anything. Back in the day, and the guy stood outside her window with a boombox. That was my husband. That's what he used to do at night. He would literally, he was so in love at that stage. He would have just sat outside my window all night.
That's the problem with when you find someone, you're in your 40s as women, and then
we just trust everything.
Exactly. You find someone who is in the same age as you, and he's just been through everything.
It's your single girlfriends too. Your single girlfriends are like, well, that doesn't exist. He's a narcissistic love bomber. And
that's
I'm
exactly
like,
the problem, honey, because they're only looking at like people on their age and all these men, they've been through everything.
And they're bitter by then.
They're bitter by life. When you find someone younger, they really want to grow. They want to just find
I was going to say life hadn't bitten you yet, but it had. It really had. He'd been bitten by, Real Madrid, so he wasn't happy at that stage, but he still absolutely had this naive love and this amazing thing about him that I wouldn't change for anything. So that was my first red flag, because all my girlfriends were like, well, this doesn't happen. No man goes this crazy for a 43-year-old. And I'm like, okay, well, obviously I'm an idiot. I'm that old idiot that
only younger
thinks this
men.
is true. Well, no, Sergio, because younger men normally just sleep with the women and then run off. And then
depends. But next.
So that was it. I think the red flag was, obviously, I was, at the end of my marriage, I was being sued. And then to think about what I was going to do with you in the Middle East, who had never been to the Middle East, like didn't have any friends, didn't have a job. Like for me, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to take care of you. That was a huge red flag. I was like, I can't even think about myself right now. I've got to calm my children down. I've got to get divorced properly in the Middle East. And I've got to think about what you're doing every day, where you are. Are you okay?
Look, that was one of the biggest things, and I think from a younger man, I never asked for anything for my wife, in this case, Caroline. I never asked for anything. I was always there for her, and I just wanted to make her happy in any way I could.
No,
I knew
almost
she had,
too good to be true. I was like, what is wrong with him?
I knew she had like a whole life. She has kids, she has all this, and I was just there trying to just provide any light happiness anywhere.
And then I think the last, what did you ask me? 3?
Yeah.
No, it was really that. Those were the main 2 things. People, everybody just got in my head, and it was very hard to override that. And I think the one thing I always say about my upbringing, we have very different. Well, not really, because you went to camp.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was in boarding school. The one thing about my upbringing is that I can override the noise.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say to women out there, only you can look into a man's eyes and see his soul. And they really are the windows to someone's soul.
So that's the biggest problem with society, because, most of the women out there, they get excited with any man. They get excited about the journey with someone. All of a sudden, the whole circle around them, they start telling them, hey, you shouldn't do this. Oh my God, you're crazy. What are you doing? What is going to happen? And the best thing you did is you never listened to anyone. You always took the leap of faith, just going and putting first feelings, and that's where we are today. And I think that's one with something that we have in common, you and me.
So I think, to run it down, to give you all something to think about before you rush out and grab a man 20 years younger, and obviously you don't have to go that far down, is one, no one can tell you until you've spent time with that man. And I think the one thing that you and I did really right was give ourselves a few months just to be you and me.
A bit longer, actually.
Well, just to work out who we were and whether we had that connection, right? Number 2, no one has to open their bank account. I don't understand this whole thing. Like, if you're dating a normal guy, a guy your own age, you don't give him a credit card. You're not opening your bank and saying, these are all the checking accounts I have. Why is money such a big deal? You do you. He can't afford the same restaurant you want to go to a different one. Go to the cinema. Go and enjoy
be straight for one and say, look, she's like, oh, I want to go to Cipriani or whatever. Oh, I just, I
can't afford that
I prefer to go here. Oh, don't worry, I will take you. It should be.
Sometimes you have more fun in a burger bar than you do in Cipriani. Let me tell you that.
And we did it, actually.
Yes, we did many things like that. And we walked around and we had that was the fun part, the really fun things that weren't grown up that I loved. So don't worry about those things. Those things come later. A good restaurant should not be the deciding factor. And I think another thing is, your sexual connection. That is something that we hold very, very dear. And that all of you think that, I don't know. I mean, I've just married a gay man, or a man that just takes care of himself too much.
And obviously
not me. Well, I don't know. That's why I get that a lot. I mean, I don't understand after 7 years. Trust me, I didn't get divorced, never to have sex again. That's for sure. And
I'm probably one of the most sexual
humans
people
on
out
the
there,
fucking earth. I had to take him to hospital to get his testosterone levels checked because I thought he was on Viagra every night, and he wasn't.
Shut up, honey. How am I going to be on Viagra with 30 years
I
old?
don't know. It was just very strange. It just never went down. And
it's because of sports, honey. They told me I actually have.
Yes, I think double the testosterone of a normal
10,000, whatever it is, more testosterone than a normal human.
I can assure you that this is not a fake relationship for all of you out there that want to feel better about yourselves for it. So stop putting other women down. Enjoy it, because if I can have it, let me tell you, ladies, I'm not a supermodel. You can have it too. And that's the way you should look at it, right? If she got it, I can get it. And it's in all of our reach. And I think that is a wonderful thing. And, instead of telling my husband every day that he can do better than me, that he can get younger than me. Oh my God. What are you doing with that old woman? What are you doing? You could get someone so much better. Why don't you say, good on you? Good on you for seeing an older woman for what she is. Amazing. We are fine fucking wine. We are not done. I'm just getting started. And my husband is going to be running around after me for the rest of his life.
I think I say running for president. I'm like, no, not yet.
Well, no, not yet, but you could.
But let me tell you, it's very interesting how everything switched. In the beginning, it was just all like, shit energy. Like everybody was putting us down. No one really wanted to be around us. It was just Caroline and me on an empty island. And all of a sudden, after literally maybe 4 years, and see how much we've grown together. Like now everybody wants to stay with us, to meet us. Like everybody wants to just do things with us.
The invitations he and I are getting right now, it's insane. I'm like, what has changed? I'm trying to work out what it is that you guys see so different. And maybe it's this. So I thank you for that. But we still get the stuff.
Honey, it's the society. It's the problem with society. They just prejudge ahead before any situation. And then when everything happens, then everybody is on board. That's just what happens. So you cannot listen to anyone.
And I want you to know, and that's why I'm saying, like with the children thing, there are problems in any relationship, right? So we have a different one. The main one is the child. If he left me when I'm older.
Maybe I'm not going to leave you. Stop going on that.
Of course not.
Oh my God, you're putting everything in the universe.
But that's what they're saying. It's not the universe. But, I'm just want to say out there, those are reasons not reasons not to try, because you can have a relationship with the exact same age and he runs off with younger. In fact, I found older men look at younger women way more than my husband, who is younger, doesn't really give a shit. He really doesn't look.
Exactly, because I had them and they're my age and I don't like them anymore. I want older, so.
Yeah. So that's it, really. We're not trying to persuade you into it, but what we are saying is the differences are what has glued us.
100%. And if I can give you a little advice, is never, prejudge someone and never stick to your, checks that you have when you meet someone, because all those checks might be, the best thing that happened to you if they don't fit.
Be open to life, all walks of life, and you'll never know how amazing it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored and joining me and Sergio. And please, do not forget to subscribe. If you want this show to get bigger and better, it's the only way. Press the button. We love you.
Hopefully next podcast we'll have a baby next to me.
Oh my God. No.
My God, with the labubu. So yeah, what's happening with the labubu?
This is our producer in the background. Do you know that we've made it onto Australian news? The head of private banking HSBC, Monica, I'm outing him right now, has just sent me a picture of him with a giant Labubu doll.
In the car, literally.
In the car.
I was like, how?
In the car. It's gone insane. And all the people that made fun of me, there you go, prejudged me, now have more Labubus than me. Since I have been in America, I have lost the race of Labubus. I own 3. And everybody else seems to have got. Why have you? Hang on. Did you get me one for Mother's Day?
No, honey, no.
Did he get me one?
Did
Dim Media get me one?
No, honey, no.
They really should have.
So, actually, very funny. A lot of people are asking me and telling me that because you love Labubus and they're like little babies and you care a lot about them, is this like a training process before having a baby?
Don't be ridiculous. Right.
No?
No, I was just hoping someone had got me a Labubu. Have you got me a Labubu?
Baby, there's no Labubus here. No. No, honey.
No one's got me a Labubu since I've been here. Thank you very much. Anyone that wants to get me a Labubu.
Bye.
Bye.